Hello all, welcome to this session. In this session, I am going to answer one of the Python interview questions. That is, how do you handle errors in Python? So if you get this kind of question in the interviews, you have to think twice. Why? Because here they are saying, how do you handle errors? Okay, what type of errors do we handle in Python? That kind of thinking you should have. We generally handle runtime errors. Okay. So here we have to mix up this handle and errors. Okay. So which type of errors need to be handled in Python? Runtime errors. Those are nothing but exceptions, right? So indirectly, this question is asking you to answer how do you handle exceptions in Python? That is runtime errors in Python. So let me answer. So errors handling is nothing but the runtime errors handling. Okay. So I'll quickly show you what is a runtime error or an exception. So when you run a program and during the output, when the program is running, in the output, if you are going to get an error, that error is known as a runtime error. Okay. The errors we see in the output while the program is running or program is executing is nothing but a runtime error, which is also known as an exception. First, I'll show you what is a runtime error or exception. So here I'll go to the PyCharm ID. I'll just create a variable and I'll assign a value, say 10, and I'll divide this number by 0. Okay. In mathematics, this is not possible, right? We cannot divide a number by 0 in mathematics. In Python or in any other programming languages, also it is not possible because it is not possible in mathematics means it should not also be possible in, okay? It should not be possible in other programming languages also, right? In any of the programming language, it should not be possible. So you see, when I'm writing this code, I'm not getting any error, right? I'm not getting any error. But when I run this code, I'm going to get an exception in the output. Okay. Run this, a runtime error will come while the program is running. You see, in the output, I got the exception or error. This is a runtime error. The type of the runtime error I got is a zero division error, which is also an exception here. Okay. The reason for the exception is division by zero. You're trying to divide a number by zero. That's the reason you got this runtime error or exception. How do you handle? But why we have to handle this kind of exceptions? What is the problem on getting this kind of exceptions? I'll tell you. Okay. At the line 2, if you are getting this kind of exception at the line 2, the program will stop there only, guys. The remaining statements which are followed by the line 2 will not be executed. Okay. So if I say end of this program, okay, and I'll just print out this one, end of this program, multiple times, one or many statements. No matter one statement is or multiple statements are there. None of these statements will be executed because this statement is going to give you an exception, okay, a runtime error, because of which the program will halt or stop and the remaining steps will not be executed. Remaining portion of the code will not be executed. You see here, when I run this code, only the exception came and none, end of this program has not been printed because this code is not executed because the program has stopped abruptly or there itself. Okay. So if there is a situation where you want to still continue the program execution, irrespective of whether you get an exception or not, in such kind of cases, we have to handle the exceptions. Okay. So that is how do you handle the errors means indirectly it's nothing but handle the runtime errors, which is nothing but handling the exceptions. So how to handle the exceptions or runtime errors? Using the try and except blocks in Python. Okay. The statement which is going to give you an exception, right? That you are going to surround with a try block, give the indentation, add space and give an indentation, and here except block you put, and the name of the exception you have to write after this except keyword. That is the name of the exception that you want to handle. That is zero division error exception, and put a colon here and the print. Okay, we cannot divide a number by zero. Okay, instead of the program halting with this exception details in the output, rather this print statement will be printed guys. Okay, this statement is going to give an exception and that's not going to stop the program. Rather, the exception will be captured here and it will be handled here. As part of handling, I have written print statement. That print statement will be printed. Instead of this error, the print statement we cannot divide a number by zero will be printed and the program will continue the execution this time because we have handled the runtime error already. Run this, you see, we cannot divide a number by zero has been printed and end of this program also got printed. Okay. This is how we have to handle the errors or runtime errors or exceptions in Python. And let me give you more details guys. Okay. So if you want to print more details of the exception that got handled here and all. So here we can say as, okay, as you can give any variable name, let's say Z or something. You can give A, B, C, anything, and you can print out the details here. Okay. The reason for the exception you can give here. Okay. Plus Z you can say. The exception details will be printed, guys. Why the exception, why we cannot divide a number by 0, that those exception details will be printed here. Run this. So we got some problem here. Line 3, a is equal to divided as 10. Okay. Another exception occurred. So there's one more exception. We cannot divide a number by, okay, let me check. Okay, let's do one thing. So here, when I'm saying plus Z, it's not working. So let me print it separately, guys. Okay, the problem is with the concatenation here. So let me print like this, okay, separately. That's okay. Okay, so run this. Now it's working fine. We cannot divide a number by 0. What is the reason? We're trying to divide a number by 0, okay? The reason, you see, when you print this Z, or you can give A, also anything, any variable name you can give here. So that will contain the reason for the exception, guys, okay? Because you're trying to divide by 0, that's why the exception has come like that, okay? So like this, guys, we can handle errors in Python. So hope, guys, you got the answer of this question, that is how do you handle errors in Python. That is nothing but how do you handle runtime errors in Python. That is nothing but how do you handle exceptions in Python, and why you have to handle exceptions in Python is also covered as part of this session. So that's all for this session. In the next session, I'm going to answer another Python interview question for you. Till then, see you. Bye bye.